Hey, you know, I've had this thing, I've been carrying this around for a while. I got to read it to you. You know, Gilbert Gottfried's a guest on our show every once in a while.
Yes, he is.
And he's a good friend of the show, and I love Gilbert. But I guess in June, I've literally held on to this since June, Variety wrote a review. I guess Gilbert had to give he did a 30-minute stand-up set to a bunch of industry executives, like 600 industry executives, Hollywood executives.
Oh, wait, one of those, like, convention type things?
Yeah, you got to hear this review. You want to hear it?
Sure.
It's the greatest review you ever heard.
I wish you had done this when Gilbert was here.
I could do it again when Gilbert's here, but even when he's not here, it's funny. Comedy club audiences might know him as a stand-up guy, and millions of children know him as the lovable parrot in Aladdin. But Gilbert Gottfried underwhelmed 600 studio and exhibition executives at a recent Gotham gathering.
Underwhelmed them?
The comedian bombed big at last week's Charity Bash tribute to Sony Pictures, releasing Prexy, Jeff Blake. I don't know what that is, releasing Prexy. I guess he's the president of
releases, I guess.
Of Sony Pictures releases.
Yeah.
What that is. I release, but that's another story.
Nobody's presiding over that.
Releasing Prexy, Jeff Blake sweating his way through a routine marked by anti-gay humor and crude Michael Jackson jokes. See, isn't this funny? It sounds great. I wish I'd been there.
Read that sentence again. I'm having trouble with that.
Releasing Prexy, Jeff Blake sweating his way through a routine marked by anti-gay humor and crude Michael Jackson jokes. I don't know why he was sweating.
Right.
I thought Gilbert would be sweating his way through the routine, but obviously Gilbert didn't know.
Gilbert was.
Gilbert doesn't know when he's bombed, because Gilbert always bombs. You know, but that's part of his act. The audience there to raise money for the Queens, New York affiliate of Variety, the children's charity, didn't get it, and those that got it didn't like it. Interspersed with nervous laughter and the cat call, like turn off microphone, were more than a few walkouts. Undeterred, Gottfried plowed through a relentlessly unfunny 30 minutes. Finally, he didn't even care.
He's so funny.
People are all walking out and screaming.
And he's sticking with it.
Yeah. Finally turning the stage over to Columbia TriStar Motion Picture Group Chairman Mark Canton. The studio got what might be the biggest laugh of his life, certainly the biggest of the night, when he quipped, "And to think I was worried about following the comedian." He then lambasted Republican Senator Bob Dole's anti-Hollywood crusade, which I applaud. Additional response to Gottfried came later and apparently was more savage than anything Hollywood has ever come up with for Dole. Uh-oh, here's Tom.
No, well,
what is it, Tom?
I just told Gary this, and he told me you would like to hear this story.
Right.
I had the exact same experience with Gilbert once.
Yeah.
Where I hired him.
Yes.
To work in New York Ad Club.
Yes.
And it was part of an outing, and he's up there working outdoors. Comes on, walks through a hedge to get to the stage.
Yeah.
He's on the stage for like 10 minutes. No one is laughing.
Right.
Except for me.
Right. And you're the guy who hired him.
And I'm the guy who hired him, right. So he went on for 15, 20 minutes. Nobody was laughing. All of a sudden, he went for all of his really vulgar humor. Yeah. Did 10, 15 more minutes of that.
On women's private parts, probably. Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Walks off the stage through the hedge. Yeah. And one of the other managers in the market came up to me and said, if he were my entertainment, I would have pulled him off the stage. And I said, I thought he was funny.
Yeah, you liked it. Yeah, I know. Gilbert's a definite acquired taste. Yeah. And Gilbert doesn't care.
Well, you know the legendary Gilbert.
No.
You know the legendary Gilbert.
He didn't care, right?
No, not even a little bit.
Right.
You don't think that he changed the material to suit the audience?
Oh, no, I think he changed the material. As soon as somebody was laughing, he went from whatever he had done to suit the audience to whatever was the base, most body part humor.
Wait, the way he plays it is, if you don't like this, wait till you hear this.
Yeah, right.
That's what I'm saying. He's decided, I'll really gross myself.
He must be doing gross material, and he goes, you know what, this crowd obviously wants more gross material. Like, I'm not gross enough.
Yeah.
He completely misreads the crowd.
The legendary Gilbert story was that the Go-Go's did their reunion tour, like in 90 or something like that. So he was, they were playing Jones Beach, and the opening comedian got sick.
Yeah.
So at like 2 in the afternoon, they needed a comedian to open the show, and Gilbert lives in New York. So Ron Dellner calls him and says, please help me out. So the whole audience is like 14-year-old girls with their moms.
Yeah.
And Gilbert goes out, it gets no laughs.
Right.
I saw a reprint of what he did. He just ran into these jokes using the C word as much as he possibly could.
Referring to women.
Yes, and they said that mothers were dragging their daughters back to the box office demanding refunds.
Sounds like the material we heard at the New York Ad Club.
Yeah, that's the material he always goes for when he gets upset. Yeah, right.
He's such a wacko.
Yeah. Additional response to Gottfried came later and apparently was more savage than anything Hollywood's come up with for Dole. The morning after the event, organizers appealed to a higher authority registering a complaint against the comedian with the William Morris Agency.
Oh, no.
Gottfried's agent apologized for the comedian, noting later, quote, "It was one of those times when the artist and the crowd didn't mesh." End quote.
I'm sorry.
Isn't that great? I would have loved to have been there. I would have loved it.
Must have been a great night.
Just get Gilbert on the phone.
I know. What in the world must he have been doing?
Yeah. Well, Gilbert, he needs a crowd that definitely understands him.
He needs a comedy crowd.
Yeah.
Not a bunch of executives who you don't know what they're into.
In Gilbert's defense, I've seen him at Caroline's really go over big.
He's incredible.
Yeah. And people really think he's funny, so. Not everybody.
That, because this is an industry function now. Is this going to hurt his ability to get work?
No. People forget. And Gilbert, for the money, he'll take any gig, even if he knows it's wrong.
Right.
Yes.
He doesn't care what the gig is.
Yeah.
As long as they're paying.
What is it? I think I got Gilbert on the phone. I just don't remember to bring it up.
Is it so different, the board?
Yeah. Gilbert.
Yes. What did I do wrong?
You didn't do anything wrong.
It's like being called to the principal's office.
Yes.
I just found this in my pile of stuff to read. Remember that review you got in Variety? Did you ever read it? The one
yes.
After you bombed at some, Sony Pictures gig?
Yes. I have my own copy of that.
Yeah, oh, you do?
You mounted that.
It's so funny.
Did you frame it?
I just read it on the air. I thought it was the funniest thing I ever read.
Is that your best review ever?
Michael Jackson jokes. And did you ever I don't think I ever asked you about this, did I?
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, I don't.
He went to some function, he had a little statue there that was of a man standing next to a little boy.
That was it was a Sony function.
Yeah.
And Gilbert went out and it just said he did gay humor and crude Michael Jackson jokes. And then
Gilbert, when nobody's laughing, what do you do?
That encourages me.
I love the following lines. Interspersed with nervous laughter and the odd cat call, like turn off the microphone, were more than a few walkouts. Undeterred, Gottfried plowed through a relentlessly unfunny 30 minutes, finally turning the stage over to Columbia Tri-Motion Picture Group Chairman Mark Antone.
How many people were left by the time you were done?
You're when you see all those people walking out, do you what do? You just get angrier and then start doing even dirtier material?
Yeah, it was supposed to be 15 minutes I was supposed to do, and I stretched it to 30.
But you were pissing him off so much you decided to stay on an extra 15?
Yes.
Do you really enjoy that?
Oh, he loved it.
Figure him out.
Is that what happens when you see people walking out and you're pissing them off? You just decide to stay on?
Yes.
Yeah, you refuse to be thrown off the stage.
Exactly.
You're going to torture them. I love that.
And I mean, the people are. Oh God, I don't know how he does it.
Well, wait, this is great.
Stand there.
So then the studio executive comes on after him and goes, "Well, I think I was afraid of coming onto the comic."
Yeah.
That's an insult. And then, are you aware of that, or you just get right out of the building?
You just leave the room.
No, you have to get out of the building after that one.
Then listen to this. Hollywood complained the next night by contacting Gilbert's agent, William Morris Agency. So what happened? Did your agent call you?
Oh, yes, and as a matter of fact, they even did it as a thread. They were going to print it in Variety. It's 1920 and I'm a cancer and this could ruin my career.
Wait, your career isn't already ruined.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that he has an agent.
Yeah.
Someone to call.
The agent's quote, he said, "Hey, look, Gilbert, the agent apologized."
Yes.
And said it was one of those times when the artist and the crowd didn't mesh. The artist.
I mean, how often does that happen?
He uses the term artist loosely.
Yeah. So were you embarrassed when your agent called you?
No, I was expecting it. Phone rings, you already know what they're going to say.
Did you go out with good intentions? You had a lot of good material? Okay, you have great... and in Gilbert's defense, I've seen Gilbert...
He's incredible.
He's incredibly funny.
Yeah. So you have good material.
Yeah.
Why don't you use it in these situations?
He probably did. They just went into him. You know what I mean? Is that what happened? You went out there with good intentions, right?
Yes, this was kind of like a radio event that I did.
Well, where you got thrown off the stage?
But no, I was out there and there was a big hedge around. It was
Oh yeah, that was Tom's. Tom just said that. Yeah, and that where you got thrown off the stage.
Yeah, and I climbed over the hedge to get away from them.
But you'll never reject a gig even if you know it's wrong because it's the money you want, right?
Exactly.
Right.
But
So
I think I lost them right after the Michael Jackson joke because it was an award with a man and a little boy, and I said, I'd like to thank you for offering the Michael Jackson award.
Is he a Sony artist?
Yes.
Oh, I forgot about that connection.
Yeah, but come on, get a sense of humor. Oh, man. They start
Were
forgetting.
these a bunch of Asian guys, or were they American?
Yeah, were there any Americans in the audience?
Yeah, if there were more Asians, I would have, done the usual jokes about, can you run out and get me another order of rice?
So afterwards, you knew it went bad, right?
Oh, yes.
And then, you just...
There was no way around it.
And then what do? You just, snuck out of the building, or you, just stood there and, stayed the rest of the night?
No, pretty much I snuck out through the service entrance.
And how when you insulted all the people in the Go-Go's audience at Jones Beach, and they all stormed out and started demanding a ticket refund, did you hang around that night, or you just left also?
Yeah, no, I snuck out that night also, and then I wrote an article in National Lampoon called 10 Jokes You Can't Tell at a Linda Carlisle concert.
I only wish I'd been to that Sony.
Yeah, follow him around.
Yeah.
He's having a fun time.
Hey, Gil, the next time you have one of these big functions where you have to get in a tuxedo and stuff,
yes.
Would you invite me?
Oh, you'll be the first one.
I mean, cause
one of these corporate gigs.
Yeah, one of these real corporate things, I just want to sit there and watch. I'd give anything to be at one of these.
Is there anybody who's enjoying you? Is there a little group?
Well, Tom said at the fiasco, at the radio fiasco, where Gilbert had to climb over the hedges and run away, Tom was having a great time. He thought Gilbert was right on.
Tom was the only one left.
Yeah, it's just that the other executives all came up and said, who booked the talent? And if that was my talent, I'd be very embarrassed.
You just wonder.
Well, Gilbert refuses to buckle. He's not going to change his act for anybody.
If they don't like him, he really gets it.
Yeah, I mean, he's not, he's not George Wallace or something. You know what I mean?
He's not afraid.
Right. He's not afraid. Not afraid.
He's unafraid.
Right.
But, I mean, here, again, it is Sony Pictures he's talking to.
Right.
Gilbert would like to have a movie presence.
I mean, he would, but he doesn't know how to get it. You know what I mean? It'd be nice if it happened, but it won't. What is it?
I was with Gilbert one other time when the artist in the crowd didn't ask, now that I think about it.
What was that?
It was down at the Valley Forge Music Fair in Philadelphia. He was the opening act for Buster Poindexter.
Oh, boy.
So, everybody's there to see music. I mean,
right.
I think Gilbert's one of the funniest guys I've ever seen.
Right.
I mean, he's got a brilliant act. But these people wanted to see Buster Poindexter, and this was 10 years ago.
Right.
So Gilbert comes out.
As many times as Gilbert has opened for a musical act and realizes that the audience don't mesh, he'll still keep doing it because he's going to get paid. It's great.
It wasn't a big audience.
He's free.
Gilbert's like a trailblazer, but the trail leads to nowhere. You know what I mean? It's never going to end up hitting the jackpot.
That's right. He's always taking the road and just never going anywhere.
It's great.
It wasn't a huge audience.
Yeah.
The place held 3,000. It was 1,500. So everyone's really close to the stage.
Yeah.
And Gilbert starts doing his act, and like I said, I think it's funny, but they just weren't there for that. So nobody's laughing, and I'm laughing partially because I think Gilbert's really funny, but also it's hysterical to watch nobody laugh and him not care.
Right.
So I'm laughing. Everyone's looking at me like I'm Robert De Niro in Cape Fear, because I'm howling at Gilbert jokes. And he just went ahead. He did what he had to do.
Right. And keeps his eyes closed and he keeps going.
Yeah.
Now I know why Gilbert closes his eyes.
Yeah, he doesn't want to see
He doesn't want to see everyone walking out. Hey, Gilbert, with any luck, he'll get more parrot gigs and he'll be able to retire.
Exactly.
Right. So, anyway, when your agent called you, did he yell at you?
Well, my agent called and they said, well, I don't know, should we do something to apologize? You want to give them the money back? And I go,
of course not.
When's the last time you heard an agent offer you money back?
Must have been bad.
Yeah, right. You want to give part of the money back. You didn't.
Excuse me, do you know who you're talking to?
Yeah, Rob, but why would you want to give part of the money back? You did your act, so they didn't like
In
it.
fact, you gave him more. You gave him 30 minutes.
Yeah, I can't believe you were agent. I would have fired him just saying that.
And then,
You know what I would have said to him? I'd say, okay, let's give some money back. Let's give your portion.
Yeah, you give yours back.
Yeah.
And then the guy who he was talking to from Sony, who set it up, was talking about, this was his big threat, that he knew someone in Variety, and he would write this.
Oh. Well, why is he threatening you? I mean, they hired you, they got you, so they didn't like it.
Job.
So I would love to be Gilbert's agent. It must be so difficult because he could call me and go, Gilbert, how you doing? What? Yeah, listen, something went bad the other night. Yeah. Do you want to get some of the money back?
I mean, if it's how do you call and yell at Gilbert anyway?
Yeah, how do you discuss career with Gilbert? You know what I mean? He could care less. Hey, Gilbert, maybe you should get a haircut and change your image. And it's like,
yeah, maybe you should go to certain places and wear different kinds of clothes.
Yeah, right. Maybe you should get a personal dresser. It's like, You know what you should do? You should get an agent with a speech impediment to field all the complaints.
Yeah, get crackhead Bob to work.
Yeah, hi, we're calling to complain about Gilbert Gottfried.
Okay.
I think so. Oh, that'd be great to have crackhead Bob field all the complaints about Gilbert. He's so good. Yeah, I think so. I'm good. Man, we'll get the money, man.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Gilbert.
Oh, Gilbert. So did you? So when your agent suggested you give some of the money back, like, what do you say?
That's okay with me.
It was like so stupid a question.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Did you laugh? Or do you just go like, no? Because I know how Gilbert talks. Sometimes I go like, no, I'm not going to give the money back. I don't want to do that.
He always acts like the kid who doesn't know anything was wrong.
Yeah.
What? No, I didn't know it was a problem.
And do you go home and like that night, do you lose sleep over it? Do you feel bad?
No, I took a nap right after the phone call.
You can yell at.
And then my favorite was that this guy knew a guy Variety, like that was going to be big threat.
Yeah, so they wrote the article, big deal. But why is he threatening you? I don't understand. I don't understand why he was threatening you.
I guess to him it was probably to get the money back.
Oh, he wanted the money back.
I guess to him it was probably some big deal, like it was the 1920s, and it was like the coconut grill would ruin your career.
Yeah, right. A bad review in Variety will end it all.
Yes.
Oh, man. Gilbert just laughs. It's so great.
But does it bother you, Gilbert, that, probably you won't get any more calls from any more of these executives?
Oh, he will.
Out in Hollywood?
He will, though.
You think?
Of course he will. First of all, most comedians aren't even willing to do them.
So Gilbert's the only one?
Yeah. And, like, why do you think they call Gilbert?
They're forced into this.
Yeah. Gilbert will be out there again. Remember when Gilbert did the Emmys, Gilbert, where they all started yelling at him?
Yes. I did the whole Pee Wee Herman thing.
Yeah, Gilbert came out and started, talking about masturbation right on the Emmys, and they said he'll never work again. He was working next day.
They said if masturbation's a crime, I should be on death row.
Right, and then they got all upset about it at the Emmys.
It was prime time.
Yeah, how could they do that?
They were like, and the funny thing with that one, that was one of my clean ones.
I know, that's not even bad.
Yeah.
Screw everyone.
It's interesting because I remember at that time Gilbert was really happening. It was like, Gilbert's going to break big now.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone got excited for 2 seconds. Any of us who know Gilbert know it's impossible. He'll sabotage his own big break. All right, Gilbert.
And then they were threatening me with, how could I go on the Fox channel and say such dirty stuff? Yeah. Meanwhile, married with children is some guy getting laid every night. Yes. Anyway, I just had to call you and ask you about that. Okay. All right, man. All right. So long, man. Okay, brother. Okay.
Bye, dude.
What were you doing? Were you sleeping?
No. I usually get up and run at this hour.
You're already in the park.
Yeah.
You want to plug something?
Yeah. Oh, not me. What? I have a career after all this?
Yeah, okay. I'll talk to you. Bye. Actually, I won't talk to you. I never talk to him.
That's the parrot in Aladdin.
Yeah, that's that goofy parrot that your kids like. He's a filthy old man. The filthy parrot. I love that review. We ought to hang that up somewhere. I love that review. His agent had to apologize after he did his stand-up.
Well, the agent apologized. Gilbert
would never apologize.